you. All right. Hello. Hi, good afternoon to all of you. Help me salute the speakers who came before me. Help me salute them. Help me salute them. The only advantage I have over them is that I'm Ghanaian, and you don't have to hustle to hear my words. But I think that they've built really important foundation for my thoughts for this afternoon. I want to salute the African Transformational Project for inviting me to speak again. This is my third time speaking for them. That means that I've been doing a good work. Thank you. I was asked to speak on the mentality for achieving the impossible. The mentality for achieving the impossible. I thought about the topic for several weeks, trying to ruminate on it to see where in the topic I find myself. Unfortunately, I disagree with the topic because I've thought about life. I've thought about many things that have happened in many parts of the world. Many things I've read about and heard about and seen. And my honest opinion about life is that nothing is impossible. So I'm not here to speak to you about the mentality to achieve the impossible. I'm here to let you know that nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible for you. Nothing is impossible for Ghana. Nothing is impossible for Africa. And I'm not here to just share with you empty words, empty motivation, talk to you about things I've read from books, because I'm not just a good talker, I'm a doer. And I've done many things in my life. At the age of 17, I began a career as a professional speaker. By age 20, I started organizing my own conferences. By age 25, I published my first book. By age 27, I started my first company in my life. I've started a few companies. Some have succeeded, some have failed. Some have seen moments of prosperity, some have seen moments of difficulty. Even those that have seen moments of prosperity have seen serious periods of difficulty. But in spite of it all, I believe that nothing is impossible. And possibility does not mean the absence of difficulty. Possibility does not mean that life will be easy. Possibility does not mean that there will be no discomfort. Possibility does not mean that there will be no inconvenience. Possibility means that no matter how difficult life can get, it's possible to become anything you want to become. It's possible for Ghana to become anything we want it to become. It's possible for Africa to become anything we want it to become. Because see, the problem with us Africans is that everybody in the world suffers difficulty. Only as we hold on to the difficulty and say, this is the reason why we are struggling. We can go back hundreds of years ago and say slave trade. They will move from slave trade and come to colonialism. And we keep finding reasons upon reasons for why we are not doing well in the world. But we are not the only people in the world who have suffered. Africa, we are not the only people in the world who have suffered. Europe has probably suffered even more than Africa. Oh, you don't believe me? I will tell you. 200 years before the Second World War, Europe was doing well. Something had happened that they called industrialization. So Europe had moved from hand production methods to machine tools. Textile industry was booming because it's at first. Textile is made largely from cotton. And cotton was done with their hands. Then they developed a machine called a cotton gin that can remove the seeds from the cotton 50 times faster than hands. So the textile industry boomed. Then iron production became a major thing in Europe because they needed iron to make machines. Then they discovered the steam engine, which transformed factories and manufacturing. And things kept on happening. They discovered the incandescent lamp. Then they came to the telegraph and the telephone. Then they came to the combustion engine, and then they made a car. A lot of things happened in Europe during the period of the industrialization. By the late 1800s, Britain had become the leading commercial country in the world, in Europe. So from Britain, then Austro-Hungary, then Germany, then France, before Japan, the United States. So even before United States saw industrialization, Europe was way ahead. Then the Second World War happened. The Second World War is the most destructive conflict in the history of the world. The most destructive. Almost 50 million people died because of the Second World War, covering about 50 nations. Millions of people died. Millions of people became unemployed. The European economy collapsed, totally collapsed. Major cities, London, Berlin, they were all bombed. Infrastructure was destroyed. Road, railway lines, seaport, airport, hospitals, factories, homes. And there was food shortage. People were hungry. Even in the parts of Europe that had been victorious in the war, people were hungry. And there was inflation. Inflation was going up. And most of Europe had borrowed money to finance the war effort. Now, if you look at, if this was Africa, like we will agree that we are dead. Like it will feel like there's no hope for the continent of Europe any longer. That they could not become anything again. That was the story of Europe. In 2 years, after 1945, after the war, production levels came back to normal. Germany, that had lost the war, in a few years' time, they had improved by about 185%. Suddenly, Britain bounced back. Germany bounced back. France bounced back. Within less than 15 to 20 years after the Second World War, Europe had entered a golden age of capitalism. And the whole continent had turned around. How does this relate to the African story? Because for many of us, when we look at Africa, we feel that there's no hope for us. We feel that we can't be great, that we can't build a world-class society, that we can't be developed. But if you look at us, we are far better off than Europe after the Second World War. We have so much going for us than Europe after the Second World War. If they could turn around their continent, so can we. My friends, nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. The biggest barrier the African must overcome is his mind. The biggest obstacle the African must conquer is his mindset. That feeling that makes us feel that we are second-class citizens of the world. We must overcome that barrier. We must start believing in ourselves more. Believing the same God. If you believe in God, and you believe that He's the one who created the universe and created human beings, the same God who created the European created the Ghanaian. The same God who created the American created the African. You are not inadequate. You are not inferior. You are not weak. If those of us in this room decide that we will stand up and be counted and will make a difference in our generation, we can make a difference in this country and on this continent. So, if everybody in Ghana decides not to change, those of us in this room, these critical mass of people, we must decide that we'll become generational thinkers. Because it's a challenge for many of us that we are operating at a subsistence level. You know, remember subsistence farming in agriculture, right? Where the farmer just grows crop, take care of himself. And many of us, that's our thinking, that's our mindset. We are operating at a subsistence level. That's our whole ambition. But listen, all these things that I discussed, the invention of the car, the combustion engine, the telegraph, the telephone, the incandescent lamp, the aeroplane, all of those amazing things, they were not done by government. They were not done by government. They were done by individual entrepreneurs with ambition to make a difference. Individuals. African thinks that the government must solve every problem. Listen, if you're going to turn around this continent, I'm not saying government doesn't have a role to play. Government has a role to play. But all of us here have a role to play. And if there's any group of people who can turn around the destiny of this continent and of this country, it's entrepreneurs. And not entrepreneurs who are selling clothes on WhatsApp. I mean, other one to it. No disrespect for those who sell clothes on WhatsApp and Instagram. But guys, if you are trying to do something to turn around the destiny of our nation, we can't all be selling second-hand clothes on WhatsApp. We must move from buying and selling to manufacturing. Somebody here must make funds. You know, our restaurant. When I was finishing my restaurant, I got angry because I went to buy fan. The fan is from India. Into India, they don't know one year science. The fan is from India. The AC is from white. Let's say everything I bought is from somewhere other than Ghana. Why? Listen, I know that talk is not cheap. I've been an entrepreneur for nearly a decade. I've been building a career for the past 17 years. I know that it's difficult. I'm not saying that everything is perfect. But if you're going to turn around the destiny of our nation, and some of us must stand up and die for this country. I'm not saying go and play for the Black Stars. I'm saying that do something beyond your personal comfort. Do something. You must move from a subsistence mindset to a generational thinking mindset that I'm doing something for Ghana. Look, it will never happen that you hear that I've gone to live in the UK. Ain't see that. Canada, ain't see that. America, ain't see that. Because see, all of us think that we have a good reason to depart from Ghana. All of us think that we do. But think of Ghana right now. No matter how difficult Ghana is Ghana worse than Germany after the Second World War? Or Britain? Or France? Or Belgium? They didn't come and live in Ghana. They stayed in their country and built. You are running away from Ghana. Who will build this nation? Who? I don't want to run away from the problems that my children will come and meet. So if you're an entrepreneur here, if you're interested in business here, you must think beyond survival. Think beyond survival. Think of doing something that is radical. Men tone shoes keke. Men kofa shoes for China na men ton keke. And your entrepreneurship, you are the for. Do something challenging. Go into manufacturing. Practice innovation. Create some invention. Let's do something. Let's stop selling the inventions that other people have made and start making our own. I don't understand. We've been watching television for 100 years. And we don't have Ghana-made televisions. Like you don't see any television called Insura. You don't see any television. You can talk about to be. What to be? So the electric fan that you use is not Ghana-made. The AC you use is not Ghana-made. The TV you watch is not Ghana-made. The chair you sit on is not Ghana-made. How can we make progress in life if we are spending? So you see, the reason why the dollar keeps messing up is because everything that we use in Ghana, we turn it into dollars and go and buy somebody's something. That's all. That's all. That's all. So we make money, we change to dollars, we go and import. We make money, we change dollars, we go and import, we come and sell. So there must be some entrepreneurs who say that we want to write a different story. That we want to make a difference. Want to do that which is radical, that which is transformational. Because if you're going to keep doing the same things that we are doing, and all of us are going to put lady models on our hot studios who are modeling dress, we won't go very far. Nowadays, 4 out of every female friend you know is selling some clothes on WhatsApp. It's okay, but it's basic. It's basic. It does not have the power to transform our country. If you look at countries that have developed, whether in Europe, in Americas, or in Asia, these are countries that have created their own stuff, built their own ideas, pioneered innovations, inventions, done creative stuff. So if you're going to turn around the history of our continent, you must move beyond buying and selling to actually producing our own stuff. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. I'm not saying that there will be no challenges. You know, in the first few months of running the restaurant, first month, my light bill was 7,000, second month, 6,000. And I've been planning to manufacture cars. And I say, Aduane mpo na yɛ 7,000 na kami yɛ cars like a say. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. But if you're going to turn around the story of our country, we must be different. We must be different. I hope that in the next few years, I'll see some of you pioneering the most innovative, creative ideas that will turn around our country and our continent. Thank you very much.